Hello, my name is Kat, and this is Medicine for the Soul Yoga. Today we have part 2 of our Journey to Crow series. It's a fun, fiery practice where we will be focusing on the core and starting off with a plank, measuring where we're at now so we can then build on it in our future classes. So it's a really great place to start to benchmark where you're at on your journey. So I'll see you on the mat. So we're going to start today sitting on our heels, and we'll just draw the chin down to the chest. Feel that lovely lengthening of the neck and the shoulders. We'll roll the shoulders up and down a few times. Trying to match this movement with the breath. So inhale forward and up. Exhale back and down, letting the fingers just brush along the thighs. Beginning to make the movement slightly bigger, so really moving the elbows now, maybe even lifting the hands off the thighs. So making big circles with the elbows. Forward and up, inhale. Back and down, exhale. One more time, big circle. Good. Now straightening the arms, we can inhale, reach the hands up. Making a big circle with straight arms, so how big can you make the circles with the hands? Really feeling that expanse as you inhale and open the chest. Good. Next time we bring the hands forward, we're going to interlace the fingers, push the hands away, draw the chin down, lean back into the legs, feel that lovely release across the back of the shoulders. We're going to inhale, flip the palms, reach the hands up, look up. Arching the back slightly here, and then exhale, bring the hands down, fingertips on the mat either side of the body. We're going to push into the right hand and inhale, lift the hips slightly, let the left hand float back. Exhale, come down with the left hand towards the right. Again, inhale, follow the hand with your gaze. Inhale, exhale, drawing back down. Good. Last time, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, releasing down. And this time we're going to walk the fingers in an arc forward, reaching the fingers as far forward as we can. So reaching the chest down, letting the chest melt on the thighs. So we're in our child's pose with the fingertips on the mat, forehead reaching down. So we're really opening out the shoulders. Maybe give them a little wiggle here. Take a big inhale. Big exhale. Could you draw the hips a bit further towards the heels, keeping the fingers where they are? Look towards the hands, and we'll just walk the hands over to the other side in that big arc. Bringing the chest up, and then resetting on the other side as we inhale, lifting the hips, reach the right hand back. Exhale, release. So we're on the fingertips of this left hand to give us space. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. Good. Exhale. Really stretching and warming up the whole body with that movement. And then coming back onto the thighs. We'll just draw the hands together, interlace the fingers, and warm up the wrists a little bit. So just making circles with the wrists. And then waves with the hands. Focus on the breath, in and out through the nose. Good, and then releasing. Shake out the wrists. And we'll find ourselves in tabletop. And again, how I always mention is spreading the fingers. So really spreading the fingers, drawing the fingertips down. Can you see the white of the fingertips? As we inhale, we're going to arch the back, roll the shoulders. And as we exhale, rounding the spine, draw the chin into the chest. Inhale, arching the back. Big inhale. Good. Exhale, rounding, curl the tailbone. This time, inhale, arching. We're going to hold. Take a lovely big inhale here. And then find your neutral spine, walk the hands forward, melt the chest in puppy pose, keep the hips over the knees. Big inhale here. Big exhale, releasing a bit more. Good, gently coming back up. Walk the hands back to our tabletop. This time exhale, round and hold here. Let all the air out through the nose. Maybe even coming onto the fingertips, maybe walking the hands back slightly, keeping the hips over the knees and just really pushing out of the ground with the fingertips. So we're really reaching the top part of the inside of in between the shoulder blades up. Drawing the tailbone in, chin towards the chest. And then release back to neutral spine. Really good. Come back onto your tabletop. We're going to lift up the feet and just wake up the ankles a little bit, so roll them side to side. And then we'll tuck the toes and we're going to hover the knees off the mat, keeping the hips over the knees and keeping the shoulders over the wrists. Again, fingers are spread, engaged and almost gripping on the mat. Inhale, we just hover. Keep everything else the same. So we're waking up the core here. We're going to squeeze the belly button into the spine. And we're breathing deeply through the nose, so we're not constricting the breath. Option to stay here. Pretend you have a glass of water on your back. Or option, again, still with that glass of water on your back, to tap the right knee towards the right elbow and back. And then left. And then back. Squeeze, use your breath. Exhale. Move with me if you'd like, find stillness if you need to, drop the knees if you need to as well. Last time, if you're moving with me, is that glass of water still on the back? Good, and then we'll all drop the knees and gently push back to child's pose. Slide the hands forward, bring the forehead onto the mat. Take a few breaths here. And then we can slide the hands back towards the feet. Keep the chin tucked in, really rounding the back as we draw ourselves up to sitting back on the shins. Big shoulder roll. Okay, so we're going to really focus on building strength in the core today. So we're going to start with plank pose, because plank pose just works the whole length of the core and is just an amazing exercise. We're going to hold the plank for a minute and we're going to progressively build this time up throughout the next classes. So stick with me. Obviously drop your knees if you need to. If you do drop your knees, try and kind of be aware of when you have dropped your knees so that you can still be progressing and building up. If you can stick with me, then please do. So we're going to come into forearm plank. So we're going to bring the elbows down. The hands, again, fingers are still spread. And we're going to tuck the toes and we're going to lift ourselves up. So troubleshooting here, any issues that might happen in your plank is having the hips up. Draw the hips down, one long line between the shoulders, hips and the heels. Engaging the glutes, lifting the kneecaps. Shoulders are over the elbows. So we're going to hold for 30 seconds from now. Keep the neck long. And we want to, like we did earlier with our cat-cows, almost feel like we're pushing out of the ground with the elbows and rounding the top of the shoulders. So that center point of the shoulder blades is lifting up. Are we squeezing the belly button into the spine? Are our kneecaps lifted? Glutes are engaged as well. So that's 30 seconds. If you can, we're going to hold for another 30 seconds. If you need to rest, absolutely rest, and just remember that your starting point is 30 seconds. We're going to aim for a minute today together. I find that counting my breath can really help to focus my mind. Just one breath at a time. Just think, I've just got to breathe one more breath. We're so nearly there. And release the knees. Really good. Bring the hands back. We'll bring the knees out wide and we'll find wide leg child's pose. Slide the hands forward, melt the shoulders. Take a big inhale, feel the breath traveling into the tummy. Big exhale. Good, and then rolling up. Bringing ourselves back to our tabletop. We're going to tuck the toes and find our downward facing dog. So just waking up the legs a bit here. We haven't really warmed them up yet, so just let the heels dip. Feeling it in the hamstrings. Maybe letting the hips sway side to side. Whatever movement feels good for you here. Big deep breaths through the nose. Finding stillness. As we inhale, we're going to roll ourselves into high plank. Holding our high plank, same as before with the low plank. Kneecaps are lifting, pushing out of the ground with the hands. And the heels are drawing back and down, so we're lengthening the legs, but keeping the shoulders over the wrists. Option to stay here, option to drop the knees, or option to move with me like we did before. Right knee comes to right elbow and back. Imagine that glass of water if you're moving with me. Use the breath, so inhale as we move the knee forward, exhale as we gently place it back. So really not rushing this. Aim for the knee to get almost towards the armpit, so we're lifting up. Maybe you can tap or get higher than the elbow. Good, one more if you're moving with me. On each side, we can do it. Good, and then we'll push back to downward facing dog. Take a big inhale. Big exhale out through the mouth. Push the chest towards the thighs. Good. We'll heel toe the feet out wide, toes facing out. Bending into the legs slightly as we walk the hands back and find our low yogi squat. And we'll just gently move side to side here. So really letting the heels lift when you come to each side, letting the knees kind of fall down and out to the sides as well. Big deep breaths. Finding stillness in the center, placing the hands on the mat if needed. The heels can be lifted as well, that's fine. Or trying to bring the palms to center, draw the shoulders down the back. Use the elbows to push the knees apart. Give your hips space to sink down and forward, and the chest wants to be lifting up. Wherever you are, one more breath here. Good, and then we'll walk the hands down, and we're gonna come into our crow pose alignment. So we're not reaching crow pose just yet, but we're gonna kind of take the steps to get there. So planting the fingers, planting the hands, again, gripping the mat. You might want to heel toe the feet slightly closer to the hands and really lift the hips up so we can completely straighten the legs and lift the heels as well. So we want height. As we bring the hips down, we bend the legs and bring the knees up. So we're really wanting the knees to be right up here. One main thing is to keep the elbows drawing back and in, not letting them come out to the side. We hug them back and in, almost roll the elbows out to the edge so the inside crease of the elbows is pointing forward. So when we bend back, they're like directly going backwards. Lift the hips up, look forward, keep the chest lifting. We want height as we bring our weight onto the backs of the legs and roll ourselves onto our big toe. We're just gonna hold here. We're going to hold here for 10 seconds. Keep the weight forward. Keep breathing. Keep squeezing the elbows in. We're just on the big toes. And rest. Good. So we're building up strength. And then releasing side to side with the knees. Take a few moments here. Good. And then we're going to plant the hands again. And again, we'll come up. Lifting the heels, lifting the knees, hugging them into the backs of the arms, lifting up and forward. Imagine you want to roll onto your big toes. Again, we'll hold for 10 seconds. Focus on the breath. And release. Really good. So we're really working the hips, the core and the arms there. I'm going to do it one more time. We're just going to come into a gentle forward fold just to release a little bit, so we can bend the legs as much as is needed. Hold each elbow with the opposite hand. Gently sway side to side. Bring yourself back to the breath. Good, and then placing the hands back down. Lifting the heels up, we squeeze the knees into the backs of the arms. Keep the fingers spread. Again, finding height, lifting the hips, lifting the heels, squeezing the knees, look forward, and we roll onto the hands. Hold for 10 seconds. Option to toe tap here. Squeeze the core in. Focus on the breath. And release. Really good. We'll walk the hands forward. We'll let the knees come out onto the mat wide. Draw the toes together. Slide the hands forward, coming into our wide leg child's pose. Take a big inhale here. Big exhale, release, let it go. Feel the tummy needing the breath. Good, and then lifting up the chest, gently walking the hands back. Sitting back on the heels, rolling the shoulders. Drawing the chin down to the chest and just release out the neck. Sometimes we can hold tension in the neck when we start to do arm balances, so just releasing all of that. Good. And then finding stillness in the center. We're going to do another little exercise that's great for building upper body strength and the core as well. So we're going to come into dolphin pose. So similar to how we had our arms with our forearm plank, we're going to draw the knees in, tuck the toes and lift the heels up. So it's downward dog but on the forearms. Walking the feet slightly closer, and that's fine if the heels are lifted. They probably will be, and that's okay. We can bend the legs very slightly and push the chest towards the thighs, so we're opening the shoulders here. We're going to then look towards the fingers, and we're going to roll on our toes, so very similar movement to with the crow pose, so good practice here to rolling the weight forward. Roll up and onto the toes and bring the forehead to be over the hands, and then roll back. So inhale, roll forward, heads over the hands. Exhale, roll back. Keep the engagement with the core. Inhale forward, so that's 3. We're going to do 10. You can do it. Focus on the breath. Inhale, rolling forward. Exhale, rolling back. Obviously, please rest whenever you need to. Remember the number that you can do, and we'll build it up. So that's 5. We're going to do 10 if you can. Otherwise, remember what number you're on. 6. You can really feel it in the triceps as well. 7, rolling onto the big toes. Squeeze the core. 8. 9. And 10. Last one. Good. And release down. Wow, my arms are hurting. Bring the forehead onto the mat and just release. Let everything go. Take a big inhale. As we exhale, we're going to keep ourselves in child's pose, but bring the hands behind the body, interlace the fingers behind the back, and then straightening the arms. Option to stay here or option to lift the hips up so the hips are over the knees, rolling onto the top of the head and really letting the hands just fall back over the head. Big inhale, big exhale. And then gently releasing the hips back towards the heels, drawing the hands either side of the shoulders, rolling ourselves up. Back onto our shins. Big inhale. Good, diving the hands forward, we find our downward dog. So we're going to do a final little bit of plank work as we roll forward into our high plank, so really strong here. Option to stay here. Option 2, again, be moving the knees. So right knee in and then back, left knee. Focus on the breath, focus on this moment, find stillness, find strength, you can do it. Could you bring the knee a bit higher this time, the last time we're doing it? Maybe you're still moving with me. And then we hold our solid plank. Exhale, drop the knees. That same exhale, drop the chest and chin. Keep the elbows hugging in, but move slowly down like a plank. Inhale into our back bend. Exhale, back to downward dog. Good. Pedal out the heels. We're just going to do that one more time. Option to leave it out, or option to hold yourself in plank with the knees down for a bit more support. We're all starting this journey from different places, so just listen to your body. And as long as you're progressing on your journey, that's what matters. Inhale, rolling into our high plank, or drop the knees if you need to. Squeeze the core in, lift the kneecaps. Option to stay here, or option to do last round of these knee taps. Focus on the breath. Last one if you're moving with me. Good. Holding our plank, we'll all drop the knees down and super slowly bring the chest down. So we want to aim really slowly to bring the hips, chest and chin down at the same time. Keep the elbows hugging in. You'll feel it in the arms, shaking slightly, that's fine. All the way down. Big inhale, rolling ourselves. And feel it in the triceps that we've worked today. And exhale, back to downward facing dog. Pedal out the heels, roll the shoulders away from the ears. Good, we'll walk the feet out wide, toes facing outwards, bending into the legs slightly and draw the hips back. Good, finding our low yogi squat. Draw the palms to center. Relax the shoulders away from the ears, draw the chin in. Bring the right hand into the mat on the center. Inhale, sweeping the left hand up. Opening the chest. Bring the left hand down. Use the left elbow to push the left knee away. Inhale, peeling the right hand up. Good. Exhale, bring the hand down. Walk the hands forward, rounding the back. Good, and then using the hands to very gently roll ourselves onto our hips. Wrap the arms around the shins, draw the chin into the chest. Just give the neck a gentle roll here. Big deep breaths through the nose. Good. You can take a few rock and rolls back on the spine, just releasing out any tension in the back body. And then coming to sitting with the feet on the mat, draw the knees out wide, opening the soles of the feet, and we'll gently find our way in butterfly. And feel the knees drawing down, so we feel this lengthening of the hips that we've worked with as well today. Gently making our way further and further down. And then gently drawing up and drawing the knees together. Well done. So that was quite fiery and quick practice. I hope you enjoyed it, and I invite you to take a lovely Shavasana if you have the time, or perhaps practice another bit of movement. Thank you.